Hey everyone, and happy Wednesday. I'm Jill the Wandering Stamper. Today we're going to get into the Halloween holidays. We're going to make 2 cards. So you're getting a 2-for-1 today. And we're going to make a hidden gatefold card, but I'm making 2 cards because I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. One's a little bit more detailed than the other. So if you're in a hurry and you just want to crank out a quick card, the second card will be the super easy one. And the first card will have a little bit more to it. So let me take a moment to turn down the camera. Look, I even wore my Halloween green shirt for you. I wish I had earrings. That would be really cute. I'll have to get some. But anyways, I know you're going to enjoy this card. Let me take a moment to turn down the camera and we'll get started. Thanks for joining me today. Look at all this fun stuff we're using today. So I've grabbed 2 products for you today. So we have a lot to show you. So we're going to use our tuxedo black memento ink because of course Halloween. We'll need some black. I've grabbed some petunia pop and some pumpkin pie. We'll be using those one on one card, one on the other. And then I have the Fright Night bundle. So this is a really fun little kind of all-purpose Halloween. I love the dies inside because it has these 2 tags. So you can layer these, and it even gives you a little hole. If you don't have a hole punch, it even gives you a little punch, a hole punch die for your tag. You've got this cool little banner, and it actually works for all of the words. So if you want to use that, you can, and you can layer that. You've got all these cool little spooky cobwebs. I love these cobwebs, and you get 3 of them, so you can just keep on cutting and make an entire circle if you want. So they're really a lot of fun. You've got Eek, you've got Boo, and you've got a spider, of course. So this is a really great bundle. You can do a lot with this. So we're going to use it to make our second card. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute. And then we're using the, what is this suite called? We're using the Spooky Sweet suite of products for the first card. Look at this designer series paper. So this comes with 2 pages of all of these laser cut punch outs. So right here, you've got all these card designs you can make without stamping at all. So this paper is adorable. We're using several shades of this paper, but let me show you. You've also got 2 sheets of these, which are great for treat bags. So you can cut these out and fold them over and make little treat bags for Halloween, which is so much fun. Then you've got, look at these little guys. You can fussy cut them, or you can just use this paper. It's adorable, and of course it has a great background. And then you've got a candy image, which is lots of fun. Again, great backgrounds. Everything's double-sided, so the back will have a background. And then you have 2 sheets of scenes. Let me show you the scenes. Let me get this paper out of the way. But you get 2 sheets of this paper as well. And you can cut these out. I know that these are the size of a card front. These are a little different in size, but you could use them for scrapbooking, or you can cut them and still use them for your card front. So they're really cool. And then you've got this little fence down the middle. You can cut this out and use this for something. So, and the background's really cute. So this paper is really cool. We're also going to be using pumpkin pie, petunia pop, basic white, and of course basic black. And then the spooky Halloween stamps and dies. Look how cute these little guys are. These make the cutest little Halloween cards. And again, fabulous dies. You've got a haunted house, a fence, a tombstone with a little bat that pops out. You've got these bats, the little kids. These punch out the pumpkins and the broom. So you've got all these little elements to make this card so fun. And I love the sayings. Love, love, love this. So our first card, we're going to be using this set. And then when you buy the suite of products, you also get the Shimmer Star Foam Adhesive stickers. These are like little stickers. They're soft, which I really like because it helps your card not be so bulky, right? So these are really fun. They come in black, petunia pop, and white. And then when you buy the bundle, you also get these iridescent treat bags. So these little treat bags go along with the parts of the sheet here. Look, not this sheet. Okay, the other sheet. Cuts out the little toppers. And you can make your own toppers, of course, but cute little treat bags. So when you buy the suite, you basically have everything to make the cutest little Halloween treat bags, cards, scrapbook pages, whatever you want. So let's go ahead and get started, but I wanted to show you that because it just came out. It's adorable, and I knew you would enjoy seeing it. All right, so we're going to be making our first card with the candy paper. So I'm moving some of this other paper we're going to use for our second card out of the way. And then we're also going to be using this little house here. I actually am casing this card front. I saw this online and I thought the card front was so cute. So I'm going to case this card front. It is not something I came up with out of my own. I saw it and thought it was adorable, and I thought, you know what? That is what I'm going to make my card with. So I love Pinterest. Gives you lots of great ideas. I come up with my own ideas, but sometimes I just have fun with what I find online. So, all right, I am just going through and I'm just cutting all of these because then I have them for when I need them. So these are all 4 by 5 1/4, which I love, so it's all the size of a card front. So we're going to use this one. I'm going to trim just a teensy bit more off of this one. Was a little off in my cutting. All right, so these will go back in the bag for another project, and we'll keep this piece out. And then we are going to be using basic black and petunia pop for our first card. All right, don't those look good together? Look how pretty. Daffodil Delight would also work well, but I really like the petunia pop because we have these flowers here. All right, so let me show you how to make this card. So you're going to start out with your base. So your base is going to use a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper. Now this is a standard card size, but we're going to be cutting it a little different than you're used to. So on the 11-inch side, at the 5.5-inch mark, we're going to go ahead and score our card. So you're going to put it on the 11-inch side, score it at 5.5, okay? Now, on the 8.5-inch side, we're going to score it at 2 1/8, all the way down. And then we're going to rotate our paper completely around and do the other side the same way, 2 1/8. All right, so when you're done with that, what we're going to do is we're going to cut away the top from the 2 1/8 score line down to the 5.5-inch score line. We're going to cut that away. So I already have my paper on the score line, so I'm going to go ahead and just use my trimmer. And the Stampin' Up! Trimmer has the marks on the trimmer, so you can see exactly where you need to stop. All right, and then I'm just going to put this back on here. I can see my score lines as well, which makes it super easy. So I'm just going to that score line. You can also put it on the 5.5-inch mark if you want to do it that way. And you just cut that away. And while I have that up there, I'm going to go ahead and cut the other end down to that 2 1/8 mark. About right there. And we're going to turn it. I'm going to put it on that 2 1/8. And I'm just cutting away that piece. And if you have a little piece hanging on for dear life, just grab your, oh, look, it's going to fall off. You don't want to pull it because it'll sometimes leave a little corner. So just take your paper snips and just trim it. All right, so what you're left with is this, and you've got your score line still right here. So we're going to set these pieces aside for something else. And we're going to set this aside for a moment. And we're going to cut the layer for our front. So our front is going to be, let's do 4 1/8. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. So we'll do 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. okay? And that will layer nicely on our other little piece, just like that. Now, if you wanted to, you could cut this down a little bit more, but this will pop. This will pop nicely on the front of our card. But if you want a little bit more of that petunia pop to show, you can just cut 1/8 of an inch off all the way around. We'll just go ahead and do that. We'll do, actually that might be perfect. Sometimes you just want a little bit more of that cute paper showing. So let's go ahead and cut 1/8 of an inch off the bottom too. You can just trim it to whatever size, but this gives us a little bit more petunia pop. So just do whatever looks good to you. All right, so that is the layers for our front. So then inside we're going to grab that. We want to add some layers on the basic black. So I'm going to grab some cardstock and I'm going to cut 2 that are 2 by 5 3/8. Because remember, we had our score line is 2 1/8 by 5 1/2. So we just want to make this slightly smaller. So we're going to do, let's go ahead and cut it at 5 3/8. I'm trying to maximize my paper usage here. All right, and I'm going to turn it and cut 2 of them at 2 inches. 1, 2. So you're going to need 2 of these. All right. And then we're going to grab that cute little candy paper we had. Look how cute. I love this paper. And we're going to cut 2 of these at 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So let's see, I'm going to do 1 7/8. This is 12 inches, so I'll just do it this way. 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And 5 1/4. All right, so that's all of our cutting. And these will layer nicely on these little panels, just like so. All right, let's put this card together. So we're gonna grab our base, okay? So we had our 8.5 by 11 sheet. We scored it at 5 1/2, and then we scored it at 2 1/8 on each end. We scored it at 2 1/8, flipped it over, and scored it at 2 1/8. So the way this goes is we're gonna fold this in and use our bone folder, and then we're gonna fold this in and use our bone folder, okay? And then we're gonna fold the top down, and if you need to adjust anything, you can. That looks good. All right, so that's how our gatefold opens. That looks pretty plain though, right? So that is where these layers come in. All right, so let's go ahead and quickly glue. I have a little goober on my glue gun. We'll go ahead and quickly add these, get these out of the way. These are so cute. I think these are going to have to go to my grandchildren because they're going to love these cards. And we're going to be in town this year when they trick-or-treat. So we're really happy. We're staying in Colorado through the holidays because the guys will be gone. They're getting deployed. We have a new grandbaby coming at the end of November, so we just decided, you know, we'll just stay through the holidays so we don't have to fly back for the holidays and go travel afterwards. We're actually doing some traveling in a couple weeks. We're going to hit some national parks we haven't hit and revisit a few national parks that were closed, or not closed, but a lot of things about them were closed during COVID. We hit them the first year we were RVing, which was the year everything was shut down for COVID. So we couldn't do some of the things we wanted to do because it just wasn't an option. So we're going to go back and do those things. One of the things is at Mesa Verde National Park, we wanted to hike the cliff dwellings. and we couldn't do that because of COVID. They had those tours closed, so we could not go in the cliff dwellings. And we also wanted to hike a slot canyon, and it's on a Native American reservation, so those were closed as well. So we're going to go back and finally get to do that. So I'm super excited about that. And then we're hitting Zion National Park, which we've never been to. We were not able to get into the park. Again, it was COVID. Everybody was going to the parks, and they had a lottery to get the bus pass. You had to get a bus pass to get in. It was only $1, but they were sold out. So we decided to skip it since we couldn't do what we wanted to do there. We went to Bryce, but we're going to go back to Bryce Canyon, which is close to Zion. We're going to go back to that one and do a little more hiking. And I forget the name of... We're going to go back to Grand Canyon as well. I forget the name of the national park we haven't been to, but there's one out there we haven't been to. We're going to hit that one. And then hit some national monuments probably too. And then come back. So we're just going to do a month of traveling and then come back for that grandchild. We don't know what it's going to be. She's hanging tough, keeping it a surprise. So we don't know. Girl or boy, we don't know. All right, so there we go. So that's kind of the guts of the card. Now, one thing I did not cut was the piece for the middle. I've got my little sample sitting here and it's falling over. Let me grab some paper really quick and cut our center. And that's just going to be 4 by 5 1/4. Easy peasy. All right. Forgot that one. So now we're just going to decorate this card. So let's do the inside. And I'm just going to stamp Happy Halloween. Let's get our stamps out. I love these stamps. They're so cute. And let's do it in Petunia Pop. I think that would be fun. I don't know if you've been to Michael's lately, but Michael's had the cutest Halloween decorations this year. Very pink, very magenta pink, which I thought was fun. You don't usually see that. So those colors kind of inspired me on this card. All right, we've got our Happy Halloween. And we have some little bats. So let's add some bats. That's fun. Whoops. Did you hear that avalanche? Those were my blocks. I have them all piled up and they took a little trip. All right, so let's do some here. And some here. Cute. All right, that's good. All right. You know what would be really cute? Let's add the word spooky. Happy Spooky Halloween. And we could do that in black. And let's put it right here. Happy Spooky Halloween. That's cute. All right. Look at this. I didn't put my plastic sheet back on and everything's stuck. All right, let's get these out of the way. That looks cute. Do you like that way? Happy Spooky Halloween. I like it. It's different. I'm just gonna pop some glue on this. Now, if you want to, You can add more designer series paper to the inside here. But let's go ahead and decorate the front. So the simplest way I'm decorating this today is with one of the laser cut dies. Because we're using pink, look how cute she is, this little trick-or-treater. Now I thought about just putting her on dimensionals, but I have these wobbles. You can get these on Amazon. They have two sizes. These are the mini wobbles, and then there's a bigger one that I use for bigger images. It's probably 1.5 to 2 inches. It's a little bigger, but they're so cute. And let me show you what they do. The hardest part is peeling off the little papers. So the one side goes on the back of your image, and then you just peel the paper off the back. I always have a hard time grabbing the back paper. These stick really well, by the way, and they're lots of fun to use. All right, so she just came out of her house. She's doing a little curtsy. We're gonna put her right here, and look, she wobbles. How cute is that? Lots of fun, especially for little animals or things that you want to show as having movement. All right, so the last thing we want to do is we want to add some words to our card. So I have these scraps. So I'm going to grab the stamp that says, "Don't worry, eat sweets." And we're going to do it really easy. I'm going to grab my long block and I'm going to stamp "Don't worry" in black. So this is straight, so I'm just going to ink up the black part and stamp it right there, just like so. And I'm going to clean that off. And then I'm going to stamp the "Eat Sweets" in my petunia pop. And I'm going to do it on this end. Just like that. All right. And then all you have to do is cut them. So save those little thin paper scraps, they come in handy. All right, I'm going to cut this just a little bit closer. All right, so these are going to get some dimensionals. We'll use the mini dimensionals for these. I think we can use the bigger ones actually. Do you send out what holiday? Halloween cards? Am I the only crazy person that sends these out? I don't send them to everyone. Just people who I think would have a lot of fun getting it. So I probably send out maybe 10. Of course, I send them to my customers and family, and a couple of my friends that would get a chuckle out of getting a Halloween card. All right, so I'm gonna just put these up here. Just super simple, and you can even overlap them a little bit. All right, all we have to do now with this one is embellish. So we'll just grab a couple of these foam pieces and put those on there. So I'm going to put one there just because that looks fun. And maybe we'll put some here. All right. So this is the first way to do this fun fold. Don't worry, eat sweets. You open it up, happy spooky Halloween. And you've got plenty of room to write. You could decorate the top, you could decorate the inside. You can go as crazy as you want. Perfect little card. So let me show you a different way to do this card. So the next card we're going to make, we're going to start out with, let's put this out of the way. We're going to start out with basic black again. And we're just going to cut a 4 1/4 by 11. So this is card, this is the second way to make this card. And then we're going to score it at 5 1/2. Okay, so we've got a card that opens like this. All right. So then for the inside of the card this time, I pulled out this fun paper, which I thought was really cool. So we are going to So we're going to put these little, it's going to be like this, okay? So we're going to cut this inside cards or inside designer series paper by 5 1/4 by 8 1/2. All right. So this is directional. So I want to make sure my 5 1/4 is this way by 8 1/2. All right, and just like the other card, we're going to score each end at 2 1/8. So 2 1/8. We're going to flip it around and do the other end at 2 1/8. All right, and then let's not forget this time for our 4 by 5 1/4 piece. And you could layer if you wanted to. You can add some layers inside. All right, so let's put this card together. So the inside, so I want my houses on the outside. So I'm going to fold my paper, belly fold, just like so. And then that is going to fit right inside, like this, okay? Easy peasy, right? So it's another alternate way to make this card, but you're not doing all that scoring and cutting on the main cardstock. So it's 2 ways you could do it. So now I'm just going to layer this on, just like so. And I didn't score exactly right, so I'm going to fix it. You need to adjust it. It's designer series paper, so you can just make yourself a new score line. Okay, so there we go. There's our inside. So now we want to make our front. So I really like the orange. This is really cool. So we're going to go ahead and cut this. Simply cut this 4 by 5 1/4. Let's do it this way. And that will be the layer for the front. Look how cute this is. So we're going to go ahead and glue this on. This will also look really great if you do the first card I showed you, and put this on the panels inside. This would be really pretty. So I went ahead and die cut all of these pieces. So here is that Fright Night stamp and then I use the other stamp to do the black texture, and then I just cut out one of these in cardstock, just like so. So I think what we're gonna do is layer these together with a hole punch. Right, we'll do it up here. Actually, you know what, I'm just gonna hole punch this one. And then I have this black baker's twine. Let's see if I can get it in there. Some things, the easiest things can sometimes be the hardest, right? I need a bigger hole punch probably, but I like this little hole punch because it just makes a tiny little hole and it's very unobtrusive. All right, there we go. So I'm just gonna tie it in a bow. Just like so. Just keeping it very simple. Give it a little trim. All right, get this out of the way. So that looks good. So what I want to do is look at these spider webs. Aren't these great? So I'm going to go ahead and layer a couple of these spider webs just like this. I cut 3 of them, so I think I'm going to put one down here as well, and then I can layer these on top. So where are my tweezers? You wouldn't believe the messes I make. Do I have any messy crafters out there? Am I the only one? Can't be the only one. I have some tweezers. There they are. I love these tweezers because I can just hold on to things without getting my fingers in the glue. So I'm just putting, this great thing about this little glue press is I can just put little dots of glue. I don't have to mess with cutting out the adhesive sheets. I really don't like using the adhesive sheets. I use them once in a while if I have to. I just feel like this is so much easier. So that's all right, that looks good. And then our next piece is going to go here, and I'm just going to glue that down. Just like that. And then we're going to make this one a little kind of crooked, just to give it a little pizzazz. Actually, we'll do this one straight. We'll do the next one crooked. So we'll put this one on just like that. And then I'm going to grab some dimensionals. We'll pop this one up and make it bolder. So I'm going to put one over that string to kind of anchor that string in place. And this will probably get mailed, so gotta put enough of these on. And I've had a couple people tell me, stamps went up again. And yes, they did, and it stinks. However, it's still, if you think about it, the best bang for your buck, because 78 cents plus, you know, any extra you need, you're still sending a card to someone potentially across the country. So what can you do all the way across the country for 78 cents? So yes, postage went up. That kind of stinks. But you're still putting a big smile on someone's face for 78 cents. So that's the way I like to see it. try to put a positive on it for you. All right, so now we've got some decorations. Well, it has to have spiders. So we're going to go ahead and add some spiders because, hello, we put a spider web on it. So we'll put one in each corner. All right, let's look inside. Now we have Boo and we have Eek. Maybe I should have done those in orange, huh? I'm not going to use those. Let's go inside. Maybe we'll use them in here. Let's get our stamps out and go ahead and say, do we want to say trick or treat or happy Halloween? Let's do trick or treat. I'm feeling the trick or treat one. So we should do it in pumpkin pie. Let's do pumpkin pie. Okay. Clean that off. And we have our fun little bats. I cut the bats from the Spooky Sweet, the Spooky Treats. Spooky Halloween has the bats and the dies. So that's where I got those bats, but those are fun. Let's use those. Goes along with our spooky theme. We'll put one down here. And let's have maybe one flying here. And maybe one right there. Should we? Nah, we'll save them for something else. All right. So now this simply goes inside, just like so. I just try to make the sides about the same. Well, here's a good place to put Boo and Eek. Let's do it. I didn't cut them for nothing. Just putting a little glue here and there to anchor it down well. And we'll put Boo. And Eek. There, that's cute. Okay. And last but not least, should we embellish it? I think what we should do is color the bodies of these spiders in a little wink of Stella, make them glittery, make them creepy. That looks good. And I think it's done. I really don't think it needs any embellishments other than that. So there we go. Let's move some of this out of the way. And let's look at our first card again. So same exact card except how it opens inside. So we cut everything as one base piece and added our inside. And again, don't forget, you can decorate these other 3 panels. All right, super cute. Or you can just simply let your designer series paper do the work. Either way, it makes a super fun card. And let me show you one other that I made. This is the one of the other little laser cut dies, this little hippo. Super cute, and I added a crow sitting on the pumpkins because it went really well with this pumpkin field. And I stamped "No Tricks, All Treats" inside. Again, same paper. And I added "Happy Spooky Halloween" to this one as well. So there you go. 2 ways to make the hidden gatefold card and 3 ideas for Halloween. So I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making these cards. I love them, and I'll be giving these out very soon. Don't delay if you're looking for Halloween products, because Halloween will creep up on us really fast. So if you are interested in purchasing any of these, click on the link below to my online store. And also, if you go to my blog, I'll have instructions for both ways to make this card, so you can just follow along with the cutting and scoring measurements to make your own. And I'll always also have a list of the products that I use for each card. I'm Jill the Wandering Stamper. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.